topic. Quinn, this is your topic. What are we talking about?
Okay, we're talking about a very important issue that I'd like for us to
The most
discuss.
important, super serious time.
So it's a game that you like that, for whatever reason, was not in a favorable light to the masses. It's just like a guilty pleasure, I guess you could say. It's just like you're like, yeah, that was pretty nice. I enjoyed that, and everybody's like, wow, dude, you enjoyed that? Get out of here. Just leave. Get out of the store. Get out of the house. Get off this earth. Get out of this galaxy. Go.
Oh, wow. Very aggressive, whoever that is.
just keeps going and going.
Yeah, exactly. And then vice versa, a game that everybody likes. You could walk up to your grandma and be like, hey, what's this? And then she'd be like, oh, yeah, I love that game. And then
You've had way too much sugar tonight.
And then you'd be like, I don't like that game, Grandma.
That's a shirt.
I don't like that game, Grandma.
I don't like that game, Grandma.
Okay, so
what how do we get to do this?
we'll start with we'll go with the game that you like,
And then we'll
that
just go
nobody
around.
else likes first. We'll do the round, and then we'll swap it.
Okay.
So who wants to lead?
I guess I'll go because David's usually the one that starts it.
Okay. Yeah.
I was trying to look up.
Quiet on purpose on this one because I'll just jump in.
Let me just. So the first one that I have two of them, and I'm not gonna look up the second one. I looked up just to see what their Metacritic was, but a lot of people. I'm considering this game. The first one I'm gonna do it very quickly, of based on how everyone felt, as in not the review. So like this game is BioShock Infinite. I've talked about it a lot. I really love the game. I really love Elizabeth. I really like Booker, and I like playing as Booker. But critically, it got really good ratings. Mm-hmm. So it got like 94s. Metacritic gave it a 94. IGN I think got a 9.4. But a lot of people look at it as like, I guess, the lack of a better term, the bastard child of the BioShock series. Because you're like, here's BioShock, the horror game. Mm-hmm. BioShock 2, sort of the horror game.
It's a little different.
Yeah, and then BioShock Infinite, which is not really a horror game. It's just more of kind of inventory. You kind of have to. It's not horror. No. But it's definitely like a story. But you have to keep track of your inventory, kind of like survival horrors. But Elizabeth will help you out on that, so it's like whatever. But for some reason, like BioShock Infinite, I feel. A lot of people don't agree with me. It's my favorite BioShock game.
It's a very decisive one.
Yeah, is my favorite BioShock game, and it got me into the series. I did have BioShock 1 and 2. 2 I thought was trash. 1, great. But Infinite was definitely that setting off point of like, okay, like we can get a good story. And a lot of people hate the ending, and you can jump in here after I say this part. Mm-hmm. What I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the ending.
Isn't there multiple though?
No, there's just one ending. Just one? Okay. There's just one ending, and a lot of people think that there was multiple based on how you beat it. Yeah, because the first one and the second one have multiple endings.
Oh, okay. So for whatever reason,
this one's just A to B. Yep. It's just how you get there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I actually was like, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the ending. It's fine. It makes sense. Like all the puzzle pieces connect, and then you see. What is happening? I don't know. Can we spoil a game that came out in 2014?
Wait, I want to play this game.
Okay.
Do you really? Are you serious?
Yeah, I do.
It's a great game. Okay. So no spoilers. But like the ending, a lot of people just go, the game's great until the ending. Mm-hmm. And
I live with one of them.
Yeah, and it's like I don't see why it was bad. I don't. Every time I get to that point, I'm like, because I own it on PS3. Xbox 360 and PC. Mm-hmm. I didn't buy the collection because I feel like I've bought in the game a couple times. Yeah, and especially when you have it on PC, you're kind of like, well, I already have it looking good, so because the game's modern. So, but yeah, I think it was like it added this flavor of its own to the BioShock series, where anyone can jump into it and you go, okay, there's a story. I can follow this. Mm-hmm. Like it's not. No one's going to talk to you for the whole rest of the game. You're going to wander these hallways for however long, and no one's going to respond to you except when they're yelling at you to try and kill you. And you're like, all right, but in this game, Elizabeth's with you through like 95% of the game. And you meet her like 5 or 10 minutes in, or maybe a little longer. 10 to 20 minutes into the game, you'll meet her. And she just becomes this psychic, and I like the way that they took it, and there was this sense of like, what is happening now? I don't want to talk about DLC because we're just basing it off of base games. So, but I feel like the game
you haven't played the DLC, right?
No, not yet.
I would just say the DLC ties the 3 games together in terms of it adding kind of more to Infinite itself. Not so much. It's just ties the whole series as a whole.
But even to that, like the regular ending explains the first and second games a little bit. And then you're like, what is this? Even if all you got to do is just know the general sense of what the first 2 games are, and you get to the end of the BioShock Infinite, and that's what I do like about it. It's not called BioShock 3.
No, yeah.
And a lot of people take it as that, and it's like, no, this is BioShock Infinite. It's like saying Halo 3 ODST is a part of the Halo series.
Halo 4. It's Halo 4.
Yeah, it's in the universe, but it's its own thing. Yeah. So, but anyway, that's my and then the second game is Quantum Break. I would have said Alan Wake, but Alan Wake is critically considered a really good game. Quantum Break, I feel like, got even glossed over even more. Like, Remedy is one of those companies that I'm like, they make really, really good games. They always just get the short end of the stick every single time. Because other than Max Payne, like, with Alan Wake and Quantum Break, they were like, you know, it's so interesting of a concept with Quantum Break because it's a TV show as well. So you play, they broke them up in chapters. So like you get a chapter 1. At the end of chapter 1, you watch all of what you've done. Like there'll be times, like for example, there's this one time where you could walk up to a radio and just switch it on, and it's right next to a walkie-talkie, and then it just blasts through their walkie-talkie system, and so their whole entire radio system. But it's not even like near you. You have to go and just. I accidentally found it. It was off in like a corner, so I was like, turned it on, and then all of a sudden in the game you're hearing this dialogue of where like, where the heck is that stupid music coming from? Like, turn that off. And they're like, I don't know, sir. It's in like quadrant 7 or whatever. And they're like, and then it gets to the end, and then it gets to the show part, and then all of a sudden you hear through their radio system, a guy walks up, and it's like a main bad guy, and he's like, because he hears the music, and then he walks out. And it's like, that's cool because it was an effect you had on the game that wouldn't have happened in the show, and you changed the outcome of the show. Because if you went back and didn't do that, he doesn't react that way. Yeah. So I thought it was really, really, really good. I have the game on digital, so I got it for PC as well.
Like the show, how do you do it? Do you watch the show first and then?
No, you play it. You play a bit, and then
it's like a cutscene.
Yeah, it's an actual live action show. Live actors, actually some pretty famous actors. Is it part of
the game, or do you have to watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you watch it, and they explain more of like, there are cutscenes, like traditional ones, and then there's the actual show part, and then they will have pretty much your outcome of what you've done. So things that you've heard of, things that you've seen, people you've talked to will interact in that show. And then there will be a part where it stops, like in Alan Wake, where you played Alan Wake, right? So where they just roll credits. It's like they did episodic before it was like an actual thing. It was just chapters. They would just end it. And so then the second episode would start like a traditional thing, and it's just a cutscene. I think it's just a cutscene, or it goes into a show. But it has nothing to do with what you've done. It's just setting it up, and then you play for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then it goes back into a thing. I thought it was really good. I don't know what the scores are for it, but that's one of my favorite games too. Yeah, I think it got a good score, but I really liked it. I wish more people played it, but that's what happened.
All right, is it my turn, I guess?
Sure, you just go down the line. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the game that I liked that people didn't really like, I think, like critically and also just like in terms of people, it didn't receive very good scores. Like I think it received like 7s and lower. Was Conception 2 like Children of the Stars or something like that? I don't know, like the subtitle.
They took a dartboard and just put adjectives on it and just threw it, like.
So Conception 2, the reason I never heard of the series before was because the first game was on PSP and I didn't have a PSP. So I never got a chance to play it. But the reason I played it was, well, one, it was a free eShop demo and I was like, okay, cool. And I played it. And I was like, "This is neat." But I was really, it was right after I got done beating Persona 4, and I was like,
For PlayStation 2, the
PS2, yeah.
Persona
And I was like, man, this game's so good. Why are there not as many games like this game where there's like a social mechanic on top of like all these other things like that? I was like, because that gives so much more depth to the characters and stuff like that. And I was like, is there any game out there like that I can do on the mobile that isn't Persona 4 Golden that I have to get a Vita for, which I eventually did.
Yeah.
And then I played the demo or whatever, Conception 2, which is like a Persona game. It's Persona styled, except it's way, okay, let me be straightforward. I already know why the game isn't like a critical success like Persona 4 is and stuff like that, or the Persona 3 forward is.
Yeah.
Is because this game is straight, way more anime, way more fan servicey than Persona 4.
This sounds like it's up my alley.
So this is like for people that want to like play a game. There's like, I would say Persona 4 is like if you want to have like a friend high school simulator with good RPG gameplay and good music. Persona 4 is just a good game. Like I don't think it's very it's offensive to people that haven't played like anime games before. Like I think if a guy wasn't interested in anime, he could still enjoy Persona 5, Persona 4.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Whereas this game is like
you have to be
you
a
have to
fan.
be more like someone that has watched like more than just Naruto or something to be like, yeah, I dig this, you know. Which there was like tons of cliches. So first off, it's way more cliched in that there is no.
Are there things that
there's
move?
Oh, yeah, I think there might be jiggle physics. There might
Jiggle
be
physics.
Yeah.
I think there might be, which is one. Well, that isn't the detail that caught my eye. It was actually the graphics were really good on 3DS. It was like because they have like.
Wait, this is on 3DS.
Yeah, this is on 3DS.
Okay. Oh.
It was
Nintendo. This is like Nintendo.
It was rated M. Yeah, it was
rated M on the 3DS.
Yeah.
That's not something.
It happens every
well,
once
it
in a
was
blue
also on
moon.
Vita
But
too.
yes.
It was on Vita. They just split it. I think 3DS version probably sold more just because the Vita didn't sell good at all in the first place. And so the 3D models were really top notch. I was like, wow, this is really pristine looking. And so
Did it
first
run
of all,
60 frames a second?
No, the 3DS doesn't even run 60 frames per
Yeah,
second.
what is it?
It's
Monster
all
Hunter?
30. It's all 30.
Really?
3DS can't run 60
I
frames.
thought. Okay.
When I played the game, there's first of all, unlike Persona, where it's like a relationship simulator more or less. This game is straight like waifu. Like this is your girl. You gotta choose them and you rank them up.
Can you marry all of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. This is the setup for the story. Unlike Persona is in Persona, you're like. Typically, you're the wild card user, so that's what makes you special, and it's up to you. The motivation for you to go out and make these friends is that it helps you along your journey, and it's all about strengthening your bonds with people and blah blah blah.
Thou
friendship.
art I are thou.
Exactly. This game lays it down as there's like magical like okay this game is so cheesy, but I actually enjoyed it. God, I'm not even getting to the super fan service. Is the like there's like a magical school for like gifted youngsters. It's like freaking anime Harry Potter. Let's put it like that. It's anime Harry Potter, and like you go to this school, and there's guys at this school, but you don't waste your time with the guys. You're not.
Of course not.
And
let's be honest.
yeah. And so you go there, and like there's these creatures that you have to defend against, but only like these magical people can do it because they're magical. Otherwise, normal people would get killed. So there's the school, and you're recruited there because they see magical talent in you or whatever. And
Did you get a letter from an owl?
Maybe it would like a cyborg owl, but
Whoa, there's cyborg.
well, like, probably it's a futuristic game. You get like laser swords and stuff like
What?
that.
This is a Star Wars Harry Potter anime?
Star Wars Harry Potter anime.
Just keeps getting longer and longer.
And so you go there, and like one of the girls. So you start out with like the girl next door archetype, and
You
she's
start
like,
out
she's with you.
as if she's like your choice. You get 3 to choose from, and you move on.
Because you're on like a boat. You're on like the Titanic to Harry Potter land.
Okay, that's not a good reference. You didn't make it.
Well, I think it gets attacked or something, but maybe I don't know.
Okay.
So you go there and you start out with her, and then you start out with your hot-blooded, impulsive friend that's dumb and wants to be the chosen one, but isn't the chosen one. And then he semi-resents you for it.
Semi-resents you.
And then of course later on in the game you meet the guy that's like badass and he doesn't need friends and he has like the dark powers and he's like,
Is he the one?
But
that
he's
has, like,
actually-
the scar and
yeah,
doesn't, like,
probably.
really
I
talk?
don't remember.
But he's
Really
actually a really nice guy when you get to know him.
Actually, like there's a cutscene where you like beat his ass, and then you guys like lay down and feel next to each other, and you guys are like,
Oh my!
"I'm glad we had that fight."
I'm glad we had that. I'm glad we resolved our
Bonding
differences.
experience.
And so you can date your teacher in that game.
Wow. All of
And
them.
this is on the 3DS.
This is well, one of them is. So this is before Persona 5. Persona 5, you can. Date
If it's
your
on
teacher,
Vita,
too.
if it's on Vita, we can play it on the channel.
Oh yeah. You can. It's on Vita.
Is it a chip? Can
Yeah,
I buy it on the chip?
It's the little chip one, sort of.
Okay, we gotta find it.
Well, it's a pretty common game. It's not worth much.
I'm sure it's not.
And so you get on there, and they measure the
What do
girl's
they measure?
power and her breast size, of course, because
Those correlate with each other.
Yeah, there's
they're
always
like, we gotta evaluate you, and your hot blood friend's like, dude, I bet she's like an E cup, right? And then you're like, you have your little dialogue options like, yeah, bro, I think she's like a G or something. Or you have like you have the option where you're like, you can give them the ... or you can go like, shut up, Ted.
Your friend's name's Ted?
No, it's a Japanese name, but I don't remember it.
Oh my gosh.
And so you get evaluated, and then like.
Do they measure your breast size?
No, they measure something else. No, and they're like,
An eye for an eye.
well, they measure your friend, and they're like, yeah, you have slightly more magical potential than a normal person. He's like, that's bull. Reevaluate me. And then she's like, no, get out. And then they evaluate you, and you like break the machine, and they're like, oh my god. So you're like
He's the chosen one.
And the chosen one in this game is called God's Gift because so what happens in the game is the mechanics, instead of having personas, you do have a persona-like thing, is you have the star children. That's where the title comes into. But in order to make the star
That's
children...
where half the title comes into.
Well, you'll get to the conception part too. To conceive a child, and this is why you don't mess with the dudes, is the reason why you're so important is it's like a sperm count or something essentially. Is that the higher potency or magic or whatever, the higher chance you have of conceiving a child with like another magical girl or whatever. And since you have such a high magical power, you can choose any girl pretty much and be able to get with them and have a successful result. Whereas guys with lower potential, they had to like...
It's not a matter of how high your potential is how you use it, okay?
It's how you use your magic.
Exactly. They say it doesn't matter.
And so, also, like, with the magic potential, like, there's, like, these dungeon layers where there's a whole bunch of, like, that's where the dark creatures are coming from. And
of
the
course,
higher magical
yes.
potential, the more you're able to go in there and survive. Because if you have a lower magical potential, then you have a lower resistance. So after a while fighting in there, you'll get fatigued or whatever easier.
Yeah, sometimes you have that problem if you're
And
spouting
so-
off too much high potential.
What you
Might
do
get a little fatigued.
is
Might
you-
need a glass of water, maybe a gallon or so.
What you do is you have to go to church to conceive
Oh,
your
of
child.
course. Oh my gosh.
You have to go to the holy priest person, and then you gotta choose the girl, and then you get your own little nifty cutscene with them intertwining. And then from a little egg, those little Russian eggs, right? Where those like things pop out, you get your child.
Here you go.
And then of course you have like your.
So you could have like 18 kids in that game.
Yeah, well, because they're your party members. Like one of the comments I saw that was funny. It was like,
you're hatched. Go
someone
fight
was
for
like,
me now.
Yeah. Go fend for yourself and your family.
Someone was like, "This is the best game ever. I can have all these girls to be with, and then I can send my children out to fight demons."
As every father's dream
Yeah,
is.
exactly. Come on, you were just born, but let's go.
It's time to get out of here.
I never beat the game because I ended up needing the money to get a different game, and I regret it.
It was on the list.
But I actually regret it because I enjoyed the game. It was just really. It was so fan servicey, but I really had a fun time like playing it. It was just like it made me laugh. Like it was to the point where it wasn't like it didn't make me cringe. It was just like that's funny. I think I don't remember it taking itself like super seriously to the point like if I had taken it seriously like it was like no you are like this is important to the like well I mean I'm pretty sure at some point they said you were the key to like man's survival or something but it was just like it was so overly cliche to the point that it was just like
You just can't take it serious.
I just couldn't take it serious so it was just really fun. I just had fun. I was like oh this is neat, this is cool, well I like this chick, I'm gonna hang out with her. Like literally I found one chick that I liked so much I was like well I'm not gonna hang out with the rest of the girls. And so that was my game.
What was it called again?
It was like Conception 2 Children of the Stars or something like that.
Wow.
Okay, so the
2.
reason oh no, I remember Conception 1 didn't even come out in the US because one of your romance options in that game is your cousin, which is okay in Japan. But obviously in America we have different stances on that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm pretty sure they could have fixed that with a few dialogue adjustments.
I remember this game. I remember there's like a collector's edition in this, isn't there?
There might be, I don't know.
Yeah, there is. Look how thick that box is.
Okay, so there's my girl. So
the
my
blue
favorite
one?
thing about her is so she's the little girl. Not like little girl. Well, I mean she might be little.
Oh my gosh.
But one of the things in her story thing is she wants to be a matured woman.
Are there naughty bits? Are there naughty bits in this game?
I never got to that part. I never beat the game, so I also didn't do all the stories for all of them, so I don't know how naughty it gets for the other characters.
I don't know how deep I want to go into here.
It's not too long of a game. I think it was like
No, it's not. Oh. What?
Yeah, that's the one you conceive your child.
Oh my gosh.
It's lewd.
Yeah, that's probably about as far.
Oh, there she is.
You probably don't see anything, but you probably get like.
No, you get some hand holding, some.
Oh. Oh my.
And then that's what you get.
Where have we gone?
You need to show up pictures when we do this. Like what we're looking at.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I'll be able to find any of that stuff. You could look it up. Conception 2 is what I searched, and I just clicked on. If you really want to know it, Conception 2 girls, and I binged it. That was it. So you can find the images.
Good results from Quinn. I know the good stuff.
Send it to him. You can tweet at him at. I don't even know what you're tweeting.
All right, it's
yeah. Take us back.
I don't know how.
I don't know how you can do it either. So.
I mean, the game that I was thinking of is nowhere it can't compete with what we just
Conception
went through.
2, Star Child of the Birthright or whatever it was.
I just play like stupid games that I find.
That's another topic, man.
What stupid games did you play?
All right. Well, the game that I chose, I believe, was critically received fairly well. I think it got like 8s and above.
So it's a great.
It was I even think it was one of the best games to come out for the console that it came out on. The only thing is, so the game I chose is titled Operation Winback. Have either of you heard of it?
Can you marry a waifu in that game?
No.
Okay. No, I have not heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't know either.
No, that's usually when I bring up this game. That's usually the response I get. It came out in 19
That exact one.
Operation what? No, well, nobody knows is what I mean.
Everyone. Okay, can you marry waifu in that game?
Everyone's just like, okay, but
I mean,
Is the waifu in the game?
I mean, it is a Japanese game. It's made by Koi.
Koei Tecmo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Koi.
You're familiar with
Yeah.
this.
I'm familiar.
I believe it was them. It's like Koei.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Koei. They also are animation or whatever. Koei
Yeah,
animation.
I
or
think
is
it's
it
the
Toei?
same.
I don't know.
I think it's the same people that also did like the Dynasty Warriors games.
Yeah,
I believe.
they are. And Pac-Man.
But
What a jump.
yeah, Operation Winback. It came out like really late on the Nintendo 64's lifespan. It came out like late
Oh, it's
1999.
N64. Okay.
It also was a launch title for the PlayStation 2 in 2001. But it's one of the best third-person shooters, fourth generation that I've ever played, and it also has a really long campaign. The weapon mechanics in it. It is the game that is people who have played it, including myself. I like to credit it as the game that brought in cover-based shooters. Everybody likes to go
Like Gears
you.
of War.
See,
Yeah,
everybody
Gears
likes
of
to
War
nope,
was the cover-based
this
shooter.
game
It did
it
first.
first.
Way earlier.
Did you look
right?
this up?
It came out in 1999.
So that's not anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
this game was inspired by Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it has a very kind of Metal Gear Solid-y feel.
The first Metal Gear.
Yes, because first Metal Gear Solid came out in 90.
Yeah, it was
98.
like, wasn't that on the SNES?
No,
No,
it's
it was
no,
on
PS1.
Metal Gear Solid was on the PlayStation 2. You're thinking of Metal Gear.
Yeah,
Metal
Metal
Gear,
Gear
that's
came
right.
out on
Yeah, okay.
NES and
yeah,
stuff like
on
that.
NES.
Which Kojima well, I don't know if he disowns them, but,
But-
nobody looks at those games.
But no, if you so before we started, I even just threw a quick little Wikipedia at this just for old time's sake, and it said that Metal Gear Solid inspired this game, and then this game's mechanics inspired Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, and Gears of War.
That's funny. It was inspired by Metal Gear Solid, and then it inspired.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
like Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider inspired
Raider,
Uncharted, and
Uncharted,
Uncharted now
yep.
inspires Tomb Raider.
But no, like
Yeah.
if you've got a 64, you still have a working
Yeah.
64. I really recommend that you.
Do we
if
have
you-
to go find that? How much?
I
What is it called?
probably still have a copy of it, but it's probably at my parents in storage. But if you can find a copy of it, Ryan, I really suggest you try it out.
What's it called?
Operation Winback.
Winback. You play as this
Sounds
guy
like a-
who has the most like cliche American name ever of like Jean-Luc something. Win WINBACK.
Winback.
Win.
Oh.
It's one word. Win.
What did I spell?
Windback.
Windback.
It's
is a
win.
Win.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said win back. There it is for PlayStation 2. There it is, $31
Or 11.
from
PS2.
Australia. NATO, get us this game and then send it to us.
No, next time I'm at my parents, I'll see if I can dig it out. Because it's one of my favorite games to come out on the 64, but everybody I know that has played it didn't really. They just wrote it off as a Metal Gear Solid clone, and so they never really gave it the time of day.
Do a lot of people play Metal Gear Solid? When that you know?
There's a
Okay.
PlayStation 2. Oh no, there's sequels to this game. Just
Is
saying.
there?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a
they
2.
They weren't released in the U.S.
There's one. They're here. 2.
Project Poseidon.
Yeah.
I don't believe they were released in the U.S. or else I would have had
This
it
is
on
like
PlayStation
almost
2.
an $80 game.
It's it's
This-
a European game.
Yeah.
But no, like the mechanics in it were solid. The gameplay was fun. The multiplayer was even fun.
They
The
were
multiplayer.
Metal Gear.
So the multiplayer, in my opinion, was one of the more underrated because this game had bosses in it, like Metal Gear Solid style bosses, where like they were just ridiculous and overpowered. But in the multiplayer, you can bring in those bosses and you can play as them. So we would have these rounds where we would set up where we had one person playing as the boss, and we'd have 3 of us trying to take him out.
So you essentially made your own raid.
Yeah, we basically would make like our own little like a raid mode, and you could also do teams of 2 or 4. All versus all. Free
Where's
for
the
all.
esports for that? Is there an esport for?
I don't know. We played
Project
that
Winback?
game like crazy though, but there was like 30 or something characters you can unlock and play in the multiplayer.
Jeez, wow.
And the story was really good. has a nice twist to it. Like I said, and the gameplay was just really good, really solid. And that whenever I'm like, what?
Nothing.
What's
No,
doing?
nothing.
What'd he do?
I didn't say anything.
All right.
Just continue.
But whenever I talk to people about it, I just hear negative things about it. I mainly hear, oh yeah, no, it's just a wannabe Metal Gear Solid. That just wasn't quite Metal Gear Solid, but it's so good. It was one of the first games that I played because aiming was like a big part of it, and I would hide, get behind cover, and I had it perfect where I could get the instant one-shot headshots because you would use, you'd hold your 64 controller and you push the right bumper to aim and the Z button to Z or A, I don't remember.
Z was on the back.
Yeah, but I don't remember if Z or A was to shoot.
Oh, okay.
But you would just like aim, flip down, I play inverted, so I would flick it down to aim up at the guy's head, just pop, and just all these instant one shots. And but the boss fights were really something that just I'd never seen on 64 before. But again, whenever I bring it up to people, they're just like, "Oh, it's so unoriginal," and it's just
that's probably why it didn't get a lot of attention.
And I never played the PlayStation 2 port, and I think the PlayStation 2 port of it got even more flack because I don't think it was ported well.
Oh wow.
But on the 64, that game is a gem. It really is, in my opinion. It's so good, especially if you're looking for a really good third-person shooter. Operation Winback, especially its multiplayer. That was my third person multiplayer. If we weren't playing Perfect Dark, we were playing Operation Winback because the maps on there were really nice. They were kind of small and tight, but there was a lot of cover. And it was always just kind of fun to just try and find each other. It's like, where are you hiding?
Hate to cut you off, but
Yeah.
our time is running short.
That's okay. No. We
We have to go with the second half of your conversation here.
No, we can go a little longer. Okay.
Yeah. No, I know that, but I'm
Okay.
just saying, like, to get this topic in
yeah.
order. Yeah.
The next one, of course, is game that you hate that everybody seems to like. We'll start with Ryan again.
Okay, so first off, let's kick it off real strong. Hate Half-Life. Half-Life, piece of trash game. This is the reason why Half-Life.
You're gonna get us.
And
all the
I was
dislikes.
very close of putting Left 4 Dead on this list too.
Yeah.
And the reason why Left 4 Dead, because all it is the same thing just on a different map, and it's just get from point A to point B. There's not really a story. Some people like to say there is. There's not really a story, but.
Well, the story there. Okay. Well, the story there is kind of like Dark Souls, where you kind of have to look for.
Yeah,
it
you have to like try and figure it out yourself. I understand what it is, but Left 4 Dead didn't make it on this list only because the mechanics are great. Like I will give Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. I'm talking about the whole franchise. Half-Life, I don't understand it. I don't get why it's this big deal. Where we need a third one.
So Valve, you don't like Valve?
No, that's not true either.
Can I ask you one question though?
Yeah,
about
go
Half-Life
ahead.
Games? When did you play them? Did you play them when they were brand
Half-Life,
new?
I watched it back in 1996. I saw my neighbor play that game, and then I watched her play it through I always call it the Crab Aliens.
Yeah, no,
I always call them those.
Yeah.
That was the first game, and then I didn't know really what was going on. So then I was like, okay, what was that game that she always played? As I'm trying to think as a young adult at this point. And so I'm like, all right, not now, obviously.
Right.
But like as in like a teenager.
Yeah.
And so I was looking around for it, and then all of a sudden I see on the Xbox 360 there's this thing called the Orange Box. You can get Portal. Fantastic game. Portal's fantastic. Made right here in DigiPen, like right here in Seattle. And then Team Fortress 2 was on there.
Valve is based. Valve is in Seattle.
Yeah, that's why they hired those guys. And then Team Fortress 2 was on there. And then Half-Life 2, the whole thing was on there. Played Half-Life. I know there's this whole big like cliffhanger and blah 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 and all this mess if you make it that far. I don't know. It just seemed
I made it that far.
I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
It just felt very slow. Not that much. I like a lot of dialogue, and I know there is dialogue in that game. I do, but I don't like protagonists that don't talk. And you can't say Chief doesn't. He talks, so there's a qualification there. Gordon never talks. Don't want to get that. So
at least Link.
He's a
makes
mute.
Noises.
Yeah, he's a mute. This whole game, this whole franchise.
Yeah.
The other game, And the only reason why I made it on this list is because A, it's changed a lot. I do respect it of what it is. So this one is more of I don't like it because I just can't get the mechanics down. And so I just feel like now it's so competitive. There's a few games that qualify in this, so I'll list them off very quickly.
Oh, you're so far behind the curve.
Yeah,
that
because I got it at launch. It's the same with League of Legends.
Yeah.
League of Legends and Smite were those games that I got on the train early, especially Smite.
Yeah,
I got on
we
that
used
in
to kill it.
pre-beta.
Yeah, you and me were
No,
on there.
no, but not just that.
Oh,
on
you were on
PC,
PC. You were on
I was
PC.
also in pre-beta.
Yeah.
And so, but even with League of Legends, I had skins for that, not in beta or alpha because those skins are really expensive. But I was in like early, probably like third update for it, and so and then it just got way too intense.
Way
like
too
everyone
meta.
was too into it.
Yeah.
So the one that made it on this list was Rocket League.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. I don't like it for what it is. Even though that I've recommended us doing stuff for Rocket League, again, I respect all of it. Fantastic time that to see like a video game like Rocket League sponsor WWE pay-per-views. Like it was the worst pay-per-view title ever because it's called Great Balls of Fire, but it was sponsored by Rocket League. Like it's on the chair and it's like the main sponsor. And I'm like, that's awesome. Cool, great, fantastic. I just can't play it. Like it's changed so much.
Yeah.
People are way too good at the game.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know, it's kind of toxic in some ways. Some of them are. I'm not gonna say the whole community is, but yeah,
You're more
so.
likely to hear the toxic player than the non-toxic.
Yeah, exactly.
player.
And it's not even it's I've never hear it on the other end. It's always your teammates that are so bad that they just tear you apart. And it's part of the reason why I don't play League of Legends. Is because they don't care to teach you. They just you're gonna die. Have fun. Yeah, like you're gonna die if you screw it up for me. You bring my rank down, it's your fault. It's like, okay, well, you should know that this is a video game and it's online, so you're probably gonna get ranked in somewhere.
Yeah.
But since then, I'm able to like handle MOBAs now. But Rocket League, it's a league in its own, and that's just. But again, Rocket League lands into the I just can't play it anymore, so I don't like it. I don't like playing it. Half-Life just don't really like the franchise. And same with Left 4 Dead.
fine.
Again, but the reason why Left 4 Dead didn't make it because I like the mechanics of it. Like it feels good. I just don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I just go where everyone tells me to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my thing.
Yep.
All right. The next game for me is I had a hard time, I guess, trying to like go wait. Oh, I'm hitting
No,
the
he
cord?
is.
Oh,
But it's fine. I didn't mean to disrupt you.
go
I was kinda-
way back and think of a game that was like I didn't like that other people liked. So I just thought of one of recent memory was I guess it got decent scores or whatever. Is Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia as it's
Is
said
that the
in
one
the
that
game.
just came
Yeah,
out?
it just came out.
Yeah. Rebecca has that one. I don't think she's finished it yet, though.
Yeah, I beat that game. I was so unmotivated to beat it because I dreaded playing it. It took me like normally like a game I really like, I'll usually beat it within the week or something like that. I didn't have that case for Persona 5, not because it was long, but I had plans that weekend because I went to a convention, so that took up my whole weekend. Otherwise, I would have beaten that in a week. And so this game has really good music, really good art. I like the mechanics a lot. But the story is so awful that I just do not like it. It is not good.
It's worse than Pokemon was? The Pokemon what was it? Sun and Moon you didn't like? What was the one you didn't like?
Oh, the X and Y.
The X and Y, that's right.
Yeah, but Pokemon never really has that much of
Yeah,
a
that's
story.
true, that's true.
And the reason I didn't like X and Y was because it was a step back in story. Because Black and White focused on story a lot.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then X and Y was just like, here's your friends, here's the new region. And then on top of that, they didn't expand X and Y at all. They just went on to Sun and Moon.
Hey, forget about these ones. Zygarde's coming back.
They're
Don't worry
like,
about it.
X and Y that was the beta for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, X and Y never. It was just we felt bad for you guys not getting a Pokemon game. So
Here
there you go.
Taste
Cool,
it. Have fun with it.
New Pokemon. There you go.
Yeah.
This game is the thing is that this is a remake of Fire Emblem Gaiden, which came out in like early 90s,
like 92 or 93.
Yeah.
So it's
Fire Emblem's that old to get remakes now?
Well, it's had remakes.
Man,
yeah.
Like Shadow Dragon, which is on the DS, is a remake of the very first game. It's just Fire Emblem hasn't gained popularity until Awakening because
at least over
that
here.
was the Smash stuff, right? That's
Well,
when all those characters started Cloud or not
well,
Cloud.
yeah,
What's his
that's
face? Roy
they
or
got
whatever. I don't know what his name is.
characters in Smash. Well, mostly due to Awakening's success. That's what has kept this series going is Awakening, because Awakening was like a one last hurrah for Fire Emblem, so they tried putting in everything that they've.
So it's Pokemon Silver and Gold for them.
Yeah,
they're like,
essentially.
let's do everything now.
Because they didn't have like much money and nobody really bought their games essentially, and then everybody played the game because who knew putting in so much effort would yield you.
Oh, we have to try now.
And that's not to say discredit all the older games. It's just there's a very obvious reason why Awakening did so well is because they wanted to make it really good and it caught everybody's attention because of it.
Yeah.
And so this game, I don't mind that its mechanics are different than like the newer Fire Emblem games and stuff like that.
You can tell it's older. The mechanics feel a little dated.
They're like, it's really cool. It's interesting way to play. And I like the dungeon exploration. That's my favorite part of the game. Is this first time for Fire Emblem? Well, not the first time because Gaiden did it, but first time in a Fire Emblem game that I've played, and the only Fire Emblem game in the series that has dungeons, and you can go in there and you can explore them and you get items, and then you can just grind in there and blah blah blah. You can level up units that were weaker. You have a navigatable map, which is something that I missed in Fates because Awakening had a navigatable map, and I like that because that's one of the things that held me off from playing Fire Emblem for so long is feeling forced in turn-based RPGs, or not turn-based strategy RPGs, that you always, after you beat a chapter, it progresses to the next chapter, next chapter. So there's a stress of, I gotta maintain this unit, I gotta make sure this item has this durability, blah blah blah. Whereas I like because there's more replayability, I guess, or more, just playing the game more when you have a navigatable map and you can do extra things. Because when it's just push to the next point, then after you beat the game, that's it.
You got nothing else to work with.
When you say navigatable map, do you mean like an open world?
It's just like it has a map and you can just click on different points and go to.
So it's more okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I would consider it to be like more of an open world feel.
Wait, so like StarCraft kind of thing where you click on the map and then everyone moves that way, or were you?
No. So
like
what
the map pops up. I want to go to this city, or I can go to this city, or I can go to this city.
Like
So
Super
you don't
Mario,
actually
where you have to like click on a here's the map and you click, but in a watered down version of that.
Imagine
That's
Super
what I
Mario
mean.
Bros. 3's map.
Yeah.
But instead of actually that's a really good point. It's like Super Mario Bros. 3, except when you click on a point, instead of loading a level, it loads a battlefield. Essentially, that's what it loads instead of a platforming level. That's a very good. Yeah, that's exactly what it is like. Whereas Fates in the older game, Fates had a sort of like click on location sort of thing rather than a navigatable map, which I didn't really care for. It was like, all right, I didn't mind it. And then the predecessors were just next chapter, beat the map. Next chapter, beat the map. And that's what I kind of never really wanted to dip my feet into until Awakening, because then I was like, oh, the navigatable map. That's something I really like, especially because it's just cool.
Yeah.
And so this game, it has a lot of things I like. Navigatable map, the stuff is all cool. And they added support conversations, which weren't in the original Gaiden. So I couldn't imagine playing the original Gaiden and having no character depth to anyone except for the protagonist. Because I would just be like, first of all, their sprites aren't even detailed since it's a really old game. So I'd just be like, what unit is this one? Oh, so this one's gray. Okay, I'll move him. Which one? This guy looks like gray. Well, what do I make? Oh,
he's a slightly darker shade.
This is Cliff. Okay, so this guy, that's their names, is Gray and Cliff and blah blah blah.
Oh, okay.
But on top of that, they're also starting classes. A lot of them are villagers, so they can reclass into anything. So they could all be the same unit, and the only way to differ their sprites, literally back then, would be like, oh, this guy is this guy, this guy's this guy. And then
don't have them always on top of each other.
Exactly.
You're like, hey, no.
Which one's which? Which one is the one I actually leveled up? So in this game, they, of course, with the new graphics, they made it a lot more apparent. They did a whole bunch of redesigns so it doesn't look awful. But the big thing that, and some, like, they added new characters to the story, which is, like, cool that they did that. So there's, like, the story is slightly different. But the overall story, in my opinion, is very dated. I mean, it's Shakespearean dated and not even good at that. It's a tale of two star-crossed lovers. First of all,
Now,
one thing I have to say is, so I already said that, like, I didn't mind what I said, conception.
Yeah, that
stars,
was
because that game is, I hate the Chosen One archetypes. I think that's so lame. That's just so stupid. One of the only things I think did a really good job of doing the Chosen One things, because it did it in such a different way, was Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think that was a really good instance of Chosen One. Because not only
You didn't like Star Wars? The hell the
Oh, well, I mean, yeah.
No, it was not a very good one.
Anakin is all right as the Chosen One. It's just
very whiny for the Chosen One.
well, the way they did it though is different because they did it from end to beginning. Because, and that was kind of different. But once you know the whole story of Darth Vader, it's like, oh, that's cool. He finally finds redemption.
Technically, did bring balance to the Force.
He
did bring balance to the Force.
And he finds it's a redemption.
It took him
story.
a long time, but he made it there.
It's a redemption story, which is kind of cool in the end.
Yeah.
But for this,
but everyone likes this game though.
Oh well, not everyone.
But I mean, like, it's
critically it got like 80s to 70s, but the fan base loves this game. And one thing I have to say about the Fire Emblem fan base is it's pretty divided, because there's a lot of people that came in during Awakening that are used to having like all the support conversations and doing all
more
these things.
dialogue, in depth kind of
yeah,
things.
and then having the ability to grind or freedom of choice. And then the older fans who have stuck with it through, that have like war medals and stuff like that I like, oh, I beat this game. They're like, I guess, elitist.
Oh, you
could
beat
say,
that game. Great.
Or blah blah blah.
Never getting that time back.
Which, and they don't like the newer card games, Emblem games as much. So for this one, I think the reason it like really struck with the fan base is because it's new enough to the point where someone that's used to Awakening Fates can play it and enjoy it, and it's, I guess, hardcore enough and like retro enough to attract the older demographic of Fire Emblem veterans. But the biggest reason I didn't like it is it's a Chosen One story. Not to say like Fire Emblem doesn't do that. Fire Emblem always does. It's always the person with the mark or the brand that can defeat the dragon, and they're always the lords of the game are literally.
There's some mark that has to be
exactly.
has to defeat some dragon.
They're called lords for a reason. It's because they're princes or kings of that land.
Yeah.
So those are the chosen people, of course. But this game I didn't like as much because. Well, I don't want to explain the whole story, but I'll explain the gist of it. It's about these two characters that both have marks on their hand because they were chosen by the respective like dragon gods or whatever, or they're divine beings, not really or gods, and they end up having to be separated, but it's because their bond that they forged when they were little kids that they promised they would always meet each other in the end, and that nothing.
This is already getting a little too sappy.
And the reason why I hate this so much is because the whole star-crossed lovers thing is, first of all, I hate Romeo and Juliet. I think that is one of his worst plays that he's written. I just can't stand that kind of story where there's a fate that will bring people together no matter what, and they will love each other till they die. That's so sappy. That's so corny. That is like so idealistic that it's just sickening.
Yeah.
In this game, they like get separated and they don't ever meet. Like it's literally, so they're freaking like in Romeo and Juliet times essentially. They're in like kingdom times where they got like send carrier pigeons to each other. But the thing is, when they get separated, they don't know their locations, so they are unable to communicate with each other. But for the longest time, they always think of each other every day, every night, of how I'm always going to get back to this person. I'm always going to see them again. And the first thing that happens, this is all within, well, the second chapter, essentially, which isn't too long. I don't care if I spoil this game. This game's crappy. Okay, not crappy. The story is so stupid. You have to agree that the story... So one of the characters... Well, you can't see her on camera, but I was really hyped for Celica because I knew Alm was just gonna be generic pro tag. Oh yeah, she's the girl with the orange hair.
She's got the.
But there's too much
I knew
stuff.
Alm would just be generic boy, And I was hyped for Celica because on the back of the game it says Alm follows the path of the sword, which I was like, that's what every lord does. He always kills whatever he has to until he reaches the end of the game. And then Celica leads the path of the heart, choosing not to fight and choosing to do these things. And I was like, that can be a little bit more interesting. But the thing is, when they say that, they do it so, like, I'm all for people, like, following, not doing violence and all that. But they make her such a freaking dip that she falls for everything. Like, why does having to follow the heart have to immediately mean that you're gonna be like a gullible person and you just cave into
Nonetheless,
these things?
she's supposed to be this main character, right?
Yeah,
That
they're
you're
both the
supposed
same.
to-
Both like they're deuteragonists.
Oh, when you get to choose, like,
But
can
you
you
play
choose
both
to
of
be?
them at the same time.
Oh, play both at the same time. Okay, all right.
They
You
both
just go
have
back
different
and
sides of the
forth.
map.
Yeah.
But they first meet each other after so many years in reunions, and Celica's like, first of all, she goes off the path of her journey. She's supposed to meet at this temple in order to talk to the goddess or whatever. But she's like, she hears news that like, a green-haired boy is over in the other town, and she's like, could that be Alm? I gotta go see him. And then her friends are like, Celica, where are you going? Why are we not going on the path? And she's like, oh, there's urgent business over here. And then she goes to meet Alm, and Alm's like, hey, Celica, what's up? And she's like, it's been
I
so
feel like
long.
I'm playing the game now.
This is voice acting sessions with me.
Voice acting sessions with Quinn.
And then she's like, I haven't seen you so long. What's going on? He's like, I've been killing them. I've been beating the enemies. I'm leading the resistance now against the tyranny in the world. And then she's like, how could you do that? Hurting people. You're stupid. I never want to see you. And this is within like 20 seconds of them meeting each other. I never want to see you again.
This is kind of how I felt when Ashley shows up in Mass Effect 2. Because she like just goes, you're a part of the bad guys now. Well, no, I'm not. No, you are. Let me explain.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Goodbye. We're done.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
I was waiting for you to get
myself?
I was waiting for you to get to that part too when you told me you went with that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, you're gonna get
Oh
hurt.
my gosh.
And so,
I found Jack. I don't care.
and yeah, that's the
The gist of it. You hate
yeah,
the story
gist
of
of
it.
it. I
Yeah.
would explain more of like a rant, but the game hasn't been out long enough to do that. But it's just, Celica. I had so much. That was my let down character. That was my let down. Alm couldn't have let me down. I was like,
If you can reach him, Ryan, you can grab him.
yeah, grab them.
It's not like a peg hook. Yeah. Ooh.
Hey.
There's the amiibos.
Yeah.
It's the Migos.
Yeah, because it's a two pack.
So this is them right here.
Yeah. So that's Celica and that's Om.
Yeah,
But
Celica.
it says like two different. Oh no, it's okay.
Yeah, Alm and Celica.
Yeah.
I was rooting for her, but she ended up being so Alm. He's actually a decent like guy. He gets the job done. He doesn't fall for any buffoonery.
None shall be
Yeah,
buffooned.
Because like no. So like what happens in Celica is like
We do have to wrap it up a little bit.
yeah,
but
she just the bad guys like go. Well, if you do this, I will not kill your friends. And then she was like,
okay, let me ponder.
okay. And then Alm is like, they never tempt Alm, but like if they did, they're like, we won't kill your friends. And he's like, shut up. Kills them.
Oh my gosh.
And
Wow. That was like we've said in the past. Quinn doesn't say much.
Yeah,
But when he gets
does,
going.
yeah, he's got a story to tell.
Yeah. I think you went on for like 20 minutes. There's
Ranting
25.
about it?
I think you went
That's
almost
okay.
25 minutes about that. But that's fine.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's
okay.
fine.
all right.
all right.
I had to get that off my chest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been weighing
It's
you
been
down.
brewing. It feels like it's been brewing
Yeah.
for a while.
And that wasn't even all of it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do like Quinn rants,
There
like
you
as his
go.
own show.
Review the game.
Yeah, Quinn review. Yeah.
All right, David, end us out here.
All
You
right.
got like, I hate to cut you short, but you got like
It's
10
fine.
minutes
I've
to go.
talked about how much people who've seen our shows already probably know which one I'm going to pick.
Final Fantasy 7.
No.
Okay.
No. But you're close.
Okay, Final Fantasy 10.
It's 8.
It's 10.
10.
I'm
Yeah.
going with this one right here. I'll grab him for
Oh my
fun.
god, it's him. The
Oh my god.
This guy is one of the main reasons.
Why do you have a figure of him?
Rebecca likes the game.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
do not.
That's one of the things that you build your relationship on.
Yeah, compromise. Yeah, he was one of.
You look at him, he's like, you know how much disappointment you have when you look at something and you're like, I just.
And this isn't including the laughing scene. That one.
Like,
it's not including that. Like, I can give that a pass. I can give that a pass to just being dumb. The developers being dumb. The voice being dumb.
Was it Jake from?
It was Johnny Test.
Johnny Test. That's right.
You told me that.
Johnny
I
Test.
was like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah. I just thought this dude was
knew
just an idiot. I could not stand this guy as a protagonist. I couldn't stand his personality. He was just super boring.
I thought his name was Tintin for the first thing.
I don't like his outfit. I just couldn't stand him.
Him only is the reason why you hate this game.
No.
What about the romance focus in that game?
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay. You didn't even play. Did you play 10-2?
No, I chose
you didn't
not
play
to play
that. You didn't play. What is it? What do they call that?
Oh God, I hate that.
Gosh,
game.
what do they call that?
It's like the dress-up simulator.
What's the one TV the show with Bosley or whatever his name is? They call him Hello Girls.
Oh, Charlie's Angels.
That's
Oh
right.
my
It's like
God.
Charlie's
Yeah,
Angels.
yeah.
Final Fantasy Charlie's Angels.
No, he's my least favorite protagonist. Just because I found him to be so annoying.
I don't even know if he's on camera, but nevertheless,
it's fine.
He doesn't need to be on camera.
You know
who he is.
I didn't like the story. I thought it was very cliche, very forced, shoved down your throat, and predictable as fuck.
We have to censor
That's
that
the
now.
first
That's the first F drop. We made it 8 episodes. He's getting too comfortable now.
And I saw the ending coming a mile away. Saw it. I knew what was gonna happen.
What happened?
The combat was super repetitive and boring.
I will tell you, it's the only Final Fantasy game I've ever played, and it forced me off of it.
Yeah.
I just don't want to play any more Final Fantasy games because of that game.
It's like
Actually, I played first.
Because Final Fantasy kind of always has sort of like a rock paper scissors mentality where there's always a certain type of ability or enemy or characters will be strong
Like Pokemon.
to something or will be
Final
weak to
Fantasy
something.
copied Pokemon.
Oh,
Got it.
yeah. And so like it's like, oh, we're fighting an elemental. Okay, well I'll get Lulu in here, and and she'll just one shot it. You can go through the whole game literally one shotting people because your party you can swap out people mid battle. You're not like set.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, oh, there's an elemental, pop in Lulu, she one shots it. Oh, that dude's got armor. All right, I'm gonna pop in Auron, he'll one shot it. Oh, that's a mechanic. I'm gonna pop in Riku and Steel, and she'll one shot it. And it's just so easy. That especially I feel bad for the people that just didn't really have ever played a Final Fantasy game and just didn't really understand how Final Fantasy works, because when you get into the later stages of the game you start fighting bosses that are like proper Final Fantasy bosses to like if you don't have the strategy down and you didn't like level your characters properly and you're not playing them the way they should be played, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to beat the game. And it's just the combat was just awful.
Yeah.
It was just awful. It's just so boring. I'm pretty sure I fell asleep playing this one.
Somehow you made it to the end.
I did finish it. Yeah, I did finish it.
But somewhere in
Did you dread
between,
every
you kind of
moment?
just was like this.
It was one of those games that's just like, I wanted to play it. It was a Final Fantasy game. I wanted to finish it, but I didn't want to play it. But I did it anyways. And then it has, in my opinion, the worst like love story ever, because like there's no chemistry between the characters. They don't talk that often. I was under the impression, like when I was playing it, I felt like they didn't really have a relationship. And then next thing you know, they're making out in this pool, and I get that cutscene, and I literally when it started the first time, I literally went like that. I was like,
wait, what?
I was like, what? What's going? Like, there's no way a reasonable people would be at this point. Would be doing this with how
such
the
laughter like this.
I don't know. It's just everybody's like, oh, but that's like the best scene in the game. I'm like, no, it's animated well, but it doesn't fit with the narrative.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
I was told that that was the best way to jump into it. was to play 10.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was the guy at GameStop, ladies and gentlemen.
Shout out to guy at GameStop. Thanks a lot.
I was like, should I buy Lightning or should I buy 10?
See,
and then because I think Lightning had just come out.
13.
Yeah, the 13. Is there 2? Yeah, 13.2 had just come out.
13.2.
Yeah.
I see. I think 13.2 would have been a much better starting point.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, it was when the HD remake of 10 came out, and I walked in and I was like, I've always been tempted to play Lightning because I like the way she looks. And then, like on the cover, the art style looks
that
great.
That would be 13.
Yeah. I know that one.
13,
I know that one. But like, I was just like, that was why I wanted to get it. Was it looks good? Is it good? And he goes, well, 10's probably the better one. I like it. This is my favorite Final Fantasy. And this is where everyone else likes to say that it's their favorite. And I'm like, okay. He goes, yeah, it's either this or 7.
Yeah,
I'm like,
see,
I don't want it on PC though. So I just
no. See, you're going on the right boat too with me because I don't hold 7 in as high of a regard as everybody else. I still think it's better than 10. I still think it's like top 5, but I still don't think it's as good as people say. But the only thing that I liked from this game. Oh, by the way, I forgot
was
to add,
the sport that they made up.
Oh,
I don't know what they call it.
Blitzball.
Blitzball, that's right.
No, Blitzball was garbage.
Pod racing.
Yep. This is pod racing.
This
is Blitzball.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Blitzball, Walker drove me nuts. Every time he'd open his mouth, in my head I'd be like,
Waka.
Walker.
Dude, didn't he have a famous voice actor?
Yeah, I think he did.
I met him like in 10-2 for like 20 seconds.
Oh,
and
every
I couldn't
time,
stand him.
I can't. So like the anime archetype.
Yeah, it's John DiMaggio.
Yeah. Yeah. So
the guy who plays like a lot of characters. He plays Bender.
Yeah.
He plays Jake from Adventure Time. Yeah.
But
he's a great voice actor.
There's great voice actors in this game.
The character's person, I can't do it because he's just every time I hear him, just be like, oh, shut up.
Yeah, I don't discredit their voice acting in this game. It's great. Characters are awful.
But I just wanted to punch him in the face. He's so like, excuse me, characters.
Oh, is it coming up because you've mentioned his name?
Yeah. No, it's because I'm talking about 10.
Oh.
Characters, because the character trope in Japanese media, I guess, that's kind of like your stereotypical upbeat, always positive, no matter what's going on. Characters drive me nuts. Waka is one of them.
Waka.
I think I would in 13. I think I'd put Vanille under the same category. She drove me nuts too. Vanille and Hope I didn't like, and like they drove me nuts in 13. But yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't, because normally in a Final Fantasy game, I can at least attach myself to a character. Like, yeah, I like this character. 13, I liked Fang. I don't have a Fang.
No, but
oh yeah, in 12, I liked Fran. In
which has made an appearance here.
yeah, I like Fran. In like 8, I didn't really have anybody, but again, that's in like my bottom 2 with this going on. In 7, I liked Yuffie. Yuffie was a fun character if you found her. But yeah, it's just yeah, I just didn't like the cast. The only characters I had any sort of
you like the cast, you hate the characters. The writing is
no,
what
I
got
didn't
you.
really care for any of the characters. The only characters I
no,
really...
but that's what I'm saying. Like the cast of the voice actors.
Oh no,
with,
the voice
but...
actors I had no issues with or anything like that. Especially given the time period that when they came out with voice acting and all that. Like the voice acting, other than that one scene, was fine.
Yeah.
For when it came out, but I didn't like the characters. Didn't like the
Keep
story.
drifting away from.
I'm sorry. Didn't like the combat system. Oh, and for all those people who complained about 13, 10 is also linear through 3/4 of the game. Everybody when 13 came out, oh, it's so linear. It doesn't open up till 3/4 of the game. So does this one. And
that is true. That is very true.
And the area is smaller than in 13 when it does open up. The only thing I liked about this game was the song Return to Zendikar. Is it Zendikar?
Is that a magic card?
Xanarkin.
Xanarkin, that's it. Return to Xanarkin. And that was like the title screen song. That's the only thing in that whole game I liked is that one song. That's it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, comment section is open to you.
Yeah.
So
If
war
you want to
zone.
fight us in there, feel free to do so. We will never respond to them, but there you go. You can go ahead.
Oh, I'll respond.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm sure you will. Keep it PG. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a game that you feel that is utter trash that everyone else loves, make sure you definitely comment it in the comment section below. If you have also down there, though, if you're going to do that, make sure you leave the game that you like that everyone else hates. There's a tip for tap for that. And then also, if you want to disagree with us, feel free to do so.
You should try
David
this
will fight you in there.
You should try this
I
one.
love that game.
What's this one?
Final Fantasy IX. This is Zidane. He's actually one of my favorite protagonists. Really good.
It's a good game.
It's a good one.
We're moving on.